Hello everybody, I'm the Moleville Mantis, and welcome to something that's different. I'm building a terrarium in a jar to cultivate moss for a different bioactive enclosure project later on. The first step here was to add a drainage layer and a little mesh layer between drainage and substrate just so they wouldn't mix together. I want this to keep humidity in while not overwatering the moss. Adding these clay balls adds a drainage layer for excess water to go down and recycle into the surface when it's needed. It'll keep up the humidity and make it a lot easier for plants to grow if they're higher humidity plants. Moss can be higher humidity and kept in the dark. I would like to also say this took me quite a while. This is also not a tutorial. I'm doing this for the first time. But next I just added a bunch of different pre-mixed isopod soil is what it was called. I just got it at my local pet shop as a random dirt mix that should be good for just basic plant needs, and eventually there'll be some springtails in here just to prevent mold growth, because it is a closed-off environment. I ended up trying different rocks and stuff like that, and didn't really like it, so I just kind of scrapped that idea. I wanted it to look kind of good, but it also didn't matter, because again, I just want to cultivate some moss in here and see if it works. To get all this moss, I went into my local forested area where there's a bunch of trails and stuff. It is the middle of winter, there's 2 feet of snow on the ground still, but I just kind of dug through the snow, found moss on different trees and rocks, and I took a bunch of different types of it just to see what would grow best in here. I'd recommend go to your yard or anything else in a different season, or just get sphagnum moss so you can buy other types of moss at different stores, but this was free, so I thought it would be a little easier for me, and plus I like the hike. Took me quite a while to get a look that I liked, but eventually I thought it looked pretty good, and I just kind of left it like that. I eventually pressed everything down with a pair of tweezers and just kind of made sure everything was solidly in place before closing the lid, testing out the lighting, making sure everything closed, and eventually soaking everything in water. After barely 15 minutes of work, I thought it looked pretty decent. It's just a little area with some moss, looks kind of nice. I added some sticks for decoration. I think it's kind of cool.